I'm content with the fit of this action. I'm okay with this. This has been kind of an ordeal. Waiting on that screw cost me about a week and a half, but it's been over the Christmas holidays, so it's not the end of the world. All the screws are in and tight. It's nice and strong this way. It just doesn't have any wiggle to it. Now, you know, it's not going to take a 3.5 inch 12 gauge Magnum shell in it, obviously, but now I'm going to trim my excess wood off around everything, my plates and all. I think I already did it on the top and bottom, I believe. It's been so long since I started this, but yeah, I'll get all that trimmed off, and then I'm going to work on shaping the butt, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out, because this is just really full of some pretty grain. This little blonde streak on top will be gone when I round off the shape of the butt right here. That white streak will be, it'll vanish. This is a teardrop. This is a teardrop butt pad, butt plate. You can see the little teardrop on it there. These are a bit touchy to put in. This one, I just copied this cut from this original and bandsawed that off a minute ago. But you got to start with your teardrop, because that thing goes forward and down all at the same time. You start with going down and then you go forward, but it all goes together, and it's not easy to do. It was one of the harder things for me to learn back years ago. There's some writing on the back of this butt. It's probably somebody's initials. Looks like a last four of a serial number. I mean, not a social security number. Yeah. That's how we used to mark things back then. Didn't think a thing about social security number might be stolen. We lived in a simpler, kinder world back then, my friend. A lot more trusting, a lot less suspicious. No password. Password was a game that they played on TV. Now, although I don't need this to cut anything here, I'm going to mark an outside line so it just tells me where I am and what I'm doing. I'm just one of those guys that likes to know that kind of stuff. This whole thing's got to sit down probably 1/8 of an inch below where I am before it's over with. Smoke. And it's hot too. You've heard of cold smoke? Well, this isn't. This is hot smoke. See those black marks it left me? And right there's a little bit. I didn't smoke the very bottom. I just held on to the bottom, but there's a little bit there. It's a process. It is a process. Right down in that very peak is a dot of smoke, right in that point. But I'm not going to cut that out. I'm going to, when I drive that thing in and tap that, it'll burrow itself up in there, and they look tighter and better when they've been pushed in there than if you try to cut it out. When you try to cut that out, you end up cutting more than you wish you had, and you end up with a little gap, and that little point needs to be just mashed, just pressed in there almost. That thing is hot. I believe this is the last time. It feels like it's hitting pretty good. Also, when I put the screws in here and here, that'll pull the middle in and make the ends even tighter, because it'll flex it, it'll push it in, and the ends end up getting the most of that flexing. If that makes sense. You want to be careful using Sharpie markers to work on raw wood, because it'll bleed right into your stock, and if it's not going to be cut away, you'll have a terrible time dealing with that after that's gone. So you need to really be careful using something that's an ink-based marker. That's real close. I got to do a lot of work by hand up in here. I can't cut a curve that tight on a bandsaw. I mean, I could, but I don't want to try it. I can grind that off easier with a disc, a grinder in here, but that's real close.